You know that little device on your wrist? It makes some pretty big promises, right? It's supposed to quantify your health, optimize your performance, basically unlock a better you. But today, we're going to peel back the curtain, look past the hype, and get into the real data to understand what your fitness tracker is actually telling you.
Oh yeah, we all know this feeling. That little buzz on your wrist, the digital confetti exploding on the screen. It's so satisfying. It feels like you've won the day, like a clear, definitive victory for your health. Hitting that 10,000 step goal has become like the universal sign of a good, active day.
But what if I told you that the most famous number in fitness is based more on a marketing gimmick than on actual medical science? Yeah, that's the question we're diving into today. And I gotta tell you, the answer might completely change how you look at that device on your wrist forever.
Okay, first, let's just take a second to appreciate how massive this whole thing has become. I mean, think about it. A decade ago, these things were for tech nerds and pro athletes. Now, they're absolutely everywhere, just constantly sipping up this river of data from our bodies every single day.
That's right, nearly 2/3 of us are walking around part of this giant real-time health experiment. This isn't just some passing trend, it's a huge shift in how we think about and monitor our own bodies. And with all this data flowing in, we have a massive responsibility to figure out what it actually means.
So, let's start with the big one, the elephant in the room, the 10,000 step goal. It is the metric, the number that defines a good day or a bad day for millions of people. But where did it even come from?
Was it the result of some huge, groundbreaking medical study? Maybe a big recommendation from the World Health Organization? The answer is, well, it's a lot more random than that.
Yep, you heard me right. The 10,000 step goal wasn't born in a research lab, it was born in an advertising agency in the 60s. It was just a catchy slogan to sell a new gadget. It was a nice round number, it sounded official, and it just stuck. But it was never, ever based on scientific evidence.
And this slide right here shows you just how big the disconnect is. To hit 10,000 steps every day, the average person has to spend around 11 hours a week just walking. Now compare that to the official guidelines from the actual experts, the WHO and the CDC. They recommend just 2.5 hours of moderate activity a week. So the marketing goal demands more than 4 times the time commitment of the scientific one. Just think about that.
Now, having a huge, unrealistic goal isn't just inefficient. For some of us, it can be actively harmful. That constant feedback, that little buzz on your wrist, can turn from a friendly motivator into a major source of stress and anxiety.
This quote from the research really spells it out. What starts as a fun, healthy habit can twist into an obsession. That happy buzz you get from hitting a goal gets replaced with feeling guilty or lazy or even angry at yourself when you miss it. The very tool that was supposed to help you ends up controlling you. And the research shows this isn't just a feeling. It leads to real-life problems. People get anxiety from a weird heart rate reading, they start over-exercising just to close their rings, they cancel plans with friends so they can hit a step goal, and honestly, it just starts sucking the joy out of things that used to be fun. That's a really high price to pay for a marketing slogan from the 60s.
Okay, so if the main goal is misleading and the tracking itself can turn toxic, how are we supposed to use these things? Well, the key, the big aha moment, is to understand the crucial difference between what your tracker really measures and what it's just guessing at.
Think of it like this. A measurement is like the speedometer in your car. It is directly sensing how fast your tires are turning to tell you your speed. It's raw, physical data. An estimation, on the other hand, is like the miles to empty gauge. It's not actually measuring the gas left in the tank. It's an algorithm that's taking your speed, your recent fuel use, and a bunch of other stuff to predict how much farther you can go. It's a helpful guess, but it is not a direct measurement.
And this slide right here is where it all clicks. On the left, you have the things your device actually measures with its sensors. Your heart rate when you're resting, your movement, your skin temperature. That's direct data. But on the right, you have the estimations, calories burned, your sleep stages, and all those fancy proprietary scores like stress or readiness. These are just the device's interpretation, its secret formula, and we have no idea how it comes up with them.
And here is the absolute kicker. A huge review of academic studies found that less than 4% of consumer wearables have been independently, scientifically validated. Let that sink in. For the vast majority of these gadgets, we are trusting estimations from secret algorithms based on claims that nobody can verify. This is exactly why knowing the difference between a real measurement and an estimation is so important.
So, okay, let's build a better way forward. If chasing steps and weird readiness scores isn't the answer, What is? Well, the science is becoming crystal clear that the quality of your movement is way more important than the sheer quantity. It's all about intensity.
I mean, just look at this data. When you're trying to prevent something like type 2 diabetes, 1 single minute of vigorous exercise gives you the same benefit as nearly 10 minutes of moderate exercise, like walking. For preventing heart attack and stroke, it's over 5 times more effective. The return on investment for getting your heart rate up is it's enormous.
And this isn't some random coincidence. There are very real biological reasons for this. Vigorous exercise creates what's called shear stress, which is basically a workout for your arteries that makes them more flexible. It also forces your muscles to suck up more glucose from your blood, which is fantastic for your blood sugar. And, maybe most important, it tells your body to build more mitochondria, the little power plants inside your cells, which fundamentally upgrades your entire metabolism.
Now, I know the word vigorous might sound a little intimidating, but it doesn't mean you have to do an all-out sprint until you collapse. The clinical definition is actually pretty simple. It's any activity where you're a little bit breathless, but you could still hold a conversation. So think jogging, or cycling with some actual effort, swimming, playing a sport. It's just about pushing yourself a little, not completely exhausting yourself.
Okay, so with all of this new info, how do we rewrite the user manual for our fitness trackers? How do we use them to get real, science-backed results without all the stress and anxiety? Well, it really just comes down to 2 simple rules.
First, rule number 1. Focus on the long-term trends, not the daily absolutes. Seriously, ignore the daily scores. Don't waste your energy worrying about why your readiness score dropped from 85 to 72 overnight. Instead, track your actual measurements, like your average resting heart rate over several weeks. Is that number slowly trending down? That is a powerful, validated sign that your fitness is actually improving. You are your own baseline.
And second, rule number 2, shift your focus from just volume to intensity and consistency. Aim for those scientifically backed targets, 75 minutes of vigorous activity or 150 minutes of moderate activity each week. And hey, don't forget about NEAT. That's non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's a fancy term for all the other movement you do all day. Gardening, cleaning the house, taking the stairs, walking the dog, it all adds up and it all really matters.
In the end, your wearable is a powerful tool. It can measure some pretty incredible things about your body. But any tool is only as smart as the person using it. So the real question is this. Now that you know the difference between marketing and science, between a real measurement and just a guess, are you going to let your tracker tell you what to do? Or are you going to tell it what to track?